We're in Joshua chapter 9, verse 7. So it says, Vayomer Ish Yisrael El Chavi, that the men from Israel said to the Chivites, Ulai Bekirbi. We'll just repeat this. Ulai Bekirbi Ata Yosef, perhaps you are dwelling in our midst, which we said last week. The Malbim went through this whole explanation of why they would say that. How can you say that? Here they're saying you asked about why they call Chivites, by the way, and when they're really Gibeonites. That was your question. I don't. And that's a good question. Yeah. One day we'll get to it. But the Malbim said, why are they saying perhaps you're closer to us when they've already said they're far away? And remember, the reason was because they're saying they want peace. And he had he identified three people who come for peace, right? Three types of peace. You have the border, the ones who are saying, we need you to protect our borders. Well, that's going to be close. We want to make a peace of love, all these things. So he had three definitions. I refer you to last week's tape, so I can't see them right away. But that's what it was. And so he's saying that clearly, here it is, right here, I'm sorry. So one is that the nations are neighbors with each other, so they say don't cross our borders. Fine, border control. Then the second one was they're not neighbors, but they're close enough so that they would be attacked, they could come in for protection, a non-aggressive, that's the helping out sort of thing. And the third one was that they want to become part of your people. They want to adopt your religion. Okay. So since they're saying they're coming from far away, it wouldn't make sense to say that we want a peace, a non-aggressive territory. You just want one of love at that point, not a non-aggressive. So they're saying, since you're asking for non-aggressive, how do we know that you're not really close to us? And if you are close to us, the Malbim explains this question, so then how can I make a covenant with you? God specifically told me I'm not allowed to make covenants with people who are closer unless you accept upon yourself three things. Namely, you have to accept upon yourself the 7 Noahide commandments. You have to pay us taxes, and you have to serve us. If you agree to those 3 terms, we will leave you alone. Otherwise, we will not. So we can't make covenants with you. If you're far away, then we can. But you're asking for a strange covenant. But Vayomer El Yeshua. So now the men of Gibeonites, they go to Joshua and they say, Avadecha anachnu, we are your servants. Again, we're accepting that. Vayomer Lehem Yeshua. So Yeshua said to them, Mi atem, who are you? Me'ayin tava'u, and from where do you come? Okay, because what did they say before?
That they came from a distant land?
Right. They're not identifying which land. So they're saying, okay, very nice. I'm glad to hear that you're from somewhere, but where are you going from? So the Malbim says, Vayomru El Yeshua. They said to Yeshua, Ka'ashir Ra'u, Shenogshu B'divrayim, when they saw that their words, they were coming with hard words. Notice the people were coming with harsh words. How do we know where you came from? So it says, Panu El Yeshua Levado. They turned to Joshua himself, Vayomer, and they said, Avadecha anachnu, we are your servants. Which means to say, Elecha levad banu, we're coming only to you. Lechrod berid beincha uvein melech artenu, between you and between the king of our land, which is in the second fashion, right? That was the second way where people they're not really neighbors, but they just want to make a covenant to to come and help us if necessary. Okay. So then the Malbim continues, and this type of alliance, that's the word I'm looking for, the alliance is done with kings that are far away also. It's not strange. Just think about the United States with whatever, what would have North Korea? No, South Korea.
South Korea.
South Korea. It's a faraway land. Yeah, even by plane, it's a faraway land. Okay? That they're going to help each other in the time of distress. And so now what does Joshua say? Joshua said to them, if you're going to ask me for an alliance, it shows that you're not that far away from this land. Because if you were, he says, it would be impossible for them to come and help you. You can't, unlike it in today's world, where if we need to get on a plane, we can get anywhere within about, how long do you need to get to Australia? 24 hours? A little more? I'm not sure. To Australia?
About that, yeah.
About 24 hours, okay? We could get to you. But imagine without planes, and you're just on foot or camels, how fast can I get to you if you're so far away? It's going to take me a couple of weeks. And after a couple of weeks, I don't think you're going to be there for me to have to worry about this. So it doesn't make sense if you come from a very far place away that you want to make a treaty that will have an alliance. You'll help us, we'll help you. It's not like Egypt and Israel. I mean, think about it. Egypt and Israel are borders. Okay? I cross my border from Israel, I get to Egypt. So we have a non-aggressive is called? Treaty? Non-aggression treaty. Or you're going to help me treaty, sort of like that. It would make sense. Not that it works, but it would make sense. I think all of Israel is a non-aggression treaty, if I remember, and nobody wants to help Israel. And of course, Hamas just says no to any treaty because we want to kill you. But the rest, when they got when they got the lands they wanted, it was a non-aggression treaty they made. You won't come to us, we won't come to you. We'll all be happy. Like I said, Hamas never made that because they're not interested. But that's what he's asking. So he says, Mi atem. So that's what he asks. Who are you and where do you come from? Kilif amim ha'am nodim shkeshehem am meforsam al zesh al mi atem. Because sometimes the nation that they are informed of are more popular. In other words, they're better pressed. They're more publicized. Meforsam is more publicized. So he said, L'fa'amim shema am biltim meforsam. Sometimes the name is not known, well known. Aval sham medinatam notam. But there, at least the state where they live in is known. That's why you said, where do you come from? The intent is to say that after that you are sent by your king, behechrach is by force that I should know the name of the nation or the state so that I can make a covenant with your king. You're saying, I come from a faraway galaxy. Well, that doesn't really help me. I need to know who your king is, where you're coming from, and then I can make a logical decision if I want to make a non-aggression treaty with you, a treaty that's going to help you fight against your enemies. I know what I'm going to do. She'eda shekarti brit im melach shal am or medina belona. Then I'll know that I can make a covenant with the king or of the nation or the state of whatever his name is. V'hine bezen nilkadu shenet ki lo haya evsha sheyavdu la'atzvam shem bidoy she'az le'yechol abrit al shem melech Givon. So and this is how they capture him they would capture him the second time. They would trip him up, as it were, because it was not possible for them to lie about themselves with a made-up name, because then the covenant wouldn't take place. It wouldn't happen for the Gibeonites. So, I can imagine, I come from, what's the name of my country? McDonald's. And what's the name of my king? Ronald. Okay, Ronald of McDonald's. Okay, fine. So now I never heard of the guy, but here we go. So now suddenly the Gibeonites get in trouble. The Gibeonites send a message, you made a treaty with us. No, I made it with Ronald of McDonald's, not with the Gibeonites. Doesn't work. So that's why, it's coming down to, you have to tell me what's going on. So youre love, they said to him, from a land very far away, your servants come. L'shem Hashem Elokecha, for the sake of God your Lord. Ki shamanu shamo. Now here's an interesting thing. The same shoresh, shamanu and shamo is the same shoresh, namely shin mem ayin. One is the first one is a verb. The second one is a noun. Okay, you got that? Okay, because we heard of his happenings, fame, names. We had kol asher asa b'Mitzrayim, and all that he did in Mitzrayim, in Egypt. So, for the grammar of the day, it's a very interesting grammatical point. That they use the same, the Shema, the Shin Mem Ayin, is used both as a verb first, and then as a noun. His name, his fame, whatever you want to call that is. Okay. Any questions on that, first of all?
Could I ask you one thing? Back here, the three conditions to make a covenant.
Right.
One was the 7 Noahide commandments.
Correct.
And the last one was to be a servant to us. What's the second?
Taxes.
Taxes.
You have to pay taxes. Any questions on this verse?
That's very interesting on that shore.
Yeah. Okay, so let's see what the Malbim says to show you what questions you should have had. Youre love. So they said to him, L'chein matzu irma chadasha. Now they have to find a new lie. They're getting caught. They're getting caught in their lies there. Le'mor shabau al ofen ashlishi. Now they have to say they're coming on the third manner of making a covenant. So Amru lo nuchal le'mor edach Hashem ha'em v'medina. We can't really tell you the name of the people or of the state. Because we're coming from a very, very far place away. They're so far away, you never even heard of us. Now you're going to say to him, okay, if it's so far away that you never heard of us, so why do we want a covenant with you?
Yeah.
Third option.
Well, there's another question. If you're so far away that we never heard of you, how did you hear of us?
Oh no. So kekrito, that's his answer. Da kekrito brit umashabanu hu l'shem Hashem l'techem. Is because know that this covenant is, and why we're coming is because we heard of Hashem your God. Sha'anu rotzim lahakim brit hadat v'hamunah l'kabel ha'to v'tordato. That's for all these Hebrew speakers who listen to me. Okay, that we wanted to establish a covenant to become Jewish, for lack of better terms, to accept the God, your God and the Torah, because we heard of his reputation that he was the creator of the world. And he renews it, and he conducts it. We had Ashir Asab Mitzrayim, and all that he did in Mitzrayim and in Egypt, Sheshada Teva Kirsona, that he changed nature as he desires. Also the war against the kings Sichon and Og when he totally destroyed them. Kriyat Hayarden, the splitting of the ripping of the Jordan, or the splitting of the Jordan Sea. Lo is kiru. They didn't mention that they didn't mention. Why? Because they said they came from a far away land. Who was the only ones who heard about the splitting of the Jordan?
People in Jericho we know heard.
Yeah, anybody who saw it.
Yeah.
We're only talking about a couple of days here. You can't tell me that we don't have the Pony Express. It wasn't the internet. You come from a very far away land. You couldn't have heard that. But when it comes to the splitting of if it would have been Kriyat Yamsuf, splitting of the Reed Sea or anything like that, they had 40 years to hear it. It's not so strange. But the splitting of the separation of it, going up of the Jordan, that had to be a couple of weeks. You don't have much time. So if you're really coming from a far away land, the other side of the world, you wouldn't have heard that. So that's the Malbim's point of why they didn't bring that up. Okay? So here you're seeing they had to change positions. We don't really want you to come to protect us from our enemies, because you're right, it's too far away. But we heard about your God, and we want to convert. If one lie doesn't work, go to the next. Okay, you're set up for every lie in the system. Okay? But it's an interesting position that they're taking. We've come to convert. We want to go back to our people, but we need to bring your Torah back, as it were. Okay. So it says, and we're going to go on. We'll just see what they said. The 8 kol asher asah l'shnei malchei Amori, and all that he did, namely, who's the he in that sentence? Hashem, good. All that he did to the two kings of the Amorites, Asher be'ever ha'Yarden, that was on the other side of the Jordan, L'sichon melech Heshbon, to Sichon the king of Heshbon, L'og melech Bashan, Asher ba'Ashtarot, and to Og the king of Bashan, that is in Ashtarot. V'yomru eleinu, and they said, V'yomru eleinu zikaneinu, and our elders said to us, V'chol yosvei artenu, and all the inhabitants of our country, Lamor saying, Kechu b'yedchem sedah l'derech. Take in your hands provisions for the way. Ulechu likratam, and go and meet them. Who's to them?
The Israelites.
Good. V'amartem alehem avdeichem anachnu, and you should say to them, we are your servants. V'ata kirtu lanu berit, and now make a covenant with us. Any questions?
Still really questioning their motive.
Well, they just don't want to be killed. That's their motive. They know that they think that according to the Malbim, going with his interpretation, they think that the Bnei Israel are not interested in making peace with anybody. They already sent over the paper. People refused. So they believe incorrectly that it was a one-time offer, never to be repeated again. Okay, you've seen those offers on TV many times. We will, after 100 people, we will not offer this, but they do it for about 100 days in a row.
Today only,
and then tomorrow. But so we today know that if you get, it's interesting, if you get a letter in the mail that says you have until this date to do it, many people will throw it away if that date didn't come. They'll throw it away. They'll say, okay, I missed the date down. If I would call that company up and say, I just realized that I'm sorry, I just have it. You will honor this, right? You better believe they're going to honor it. Of course they're going to honor it. They want the money. What are they losing? 10 cents on the whole thing? They're not losing anything. So we learned today, most people learned, that due dates mean absolutely nothing. Unless the store wants to be a stickler. But then you lose a sale. So again, you have to what am I doing? If I'm buying everything else anyway, although think about it. How many times have you said, this is on sale? No? Okay, put it back. Put it back? I wanted to get rid of it. Is it on sale again or not? Just make up your mind. It's on sale, I'll take it if it's not. Because you advertise on sale. I wouldn't have taken it unless it's on sale. I don't normally buy it. But it's on sale, so I figured I'll take it. But if you don't want it, put it back on the shelf. We'll sell it to you. Okay, what do you want? I mean, that's what happens. Think about it. That's what happens every time. So, it's just that people have to be willing to push. To say, no, I don't want it. You know, I've always said that if you walk into a store and you're willing to walk out empty-handed, you can get what you want. If you're not willing to walk out empty-handed, then don't bother with the bargaining.
I bought a car like that, one of the used cars. I turned my back on the guy and walked out twice and didn't look back at him. He called me to come back. Says, okay.
That's all it is. If you're willing to walk away from the deal is going to be yours. You have to be willing to walk away without any regret. But that's what's going on here. So that's why they don't want to do it. They think that Joshua and the people will not give in. They were wrong. They were 100% wrong. But so they have to go through this whole ruse to do it. But what I'm saying is, now here in this pasuk, you have in this verse, you have the statement of our elders, told us to tell them right away, mind you, say to them, we will be your servants. Is that the first thing they said? If you go back to let's see what they said the first thing when they came. They said, what did they say originally? If we're talking about Lynn. Here. What's their first statement? We come from a faraway land. Now let's make a covenant with you. They didn't say we want to convert right away. Oh, wait a second. You told me that your elders told you when to get to say, we are your servants. You didn't say that. You said we're from a faraway land. So, you know, here you're telling me a story, but you didn't do what they told you to do. And we're going to stop there.
When are we going to find out about the Hivites?
Good question.
Stay tuned.
Stay tuned.